Exploring Saturn's ring. The UFO glided towards Saturn's magnificent rings, a swirling band of ice, rock, and cosmic debris stretching across the void. From afar, they looked like a solid disk, but as Johnathan and Max approached, they saw the countless fragments that composed the structure, each piece tumbling and colliding in slow motion. Saturn's rings, Johnathan whispered. Billions of particles, from grains of dust to house-sized ice boulders, forming one of the most breathtaking sights in the solar system. Max barked in excitement, his tail wagging as he gazed at the infinite expanse of floating debris. The AI spoke. Scans show stable surfaces within some of the larger ice formations. Landing is possible. Johnathan nodded. Then let's make history and set foot on Saturn's rings. Landing on the rings. The UFO carefully navigated through the chaotic field, dodging tumbling ice chunks and drifting rocks. After scanning for a stable location, the AI guided them to a large frozen plateau, an ancient ice fragment, smooth and shimmering under the distant sunlight. With a soft hum, the UFO touched down. Johnathan and Max donned their spacesuits, their helmets sealing with a hiss. The airlock opened, revealing a weightless, dreamlike landscape, an alien world made of floating ice and cosmic dust. As Johnathan stepped onto the surface, he marveled at the strange gravity. He felt lighter than on the moon, his footsteps barely leaving an imprint on the icy crust. Max, outfitted with a specially designed spacesuit, bounded across the terrain, his paws barely touching the surface before drifting up slightly in the microgravity. "We are walking on Saturn's rings," Johnathan said in awe, "a place no human or dog has ever stood." Collecting samples. Johnathan activated his geological scanner, kneeling to collect ice and rock samples. Some fragments contained ancient frozen gas bubbles, trapped for millions of years. He placed them in a containment unit, eager to analyze their composition back on the ship. Max sniffed at a cluster of dark material embedded in the ice. "AI, analyze this formation," Johnathan requested. The AI scanned the substance. Unknown organic traces detected, possible microbial or complex biological matter. Johnathan's heart raced. Life in the rings of Saturn? Let's take a closer look. Discovery of strange creatures. As they continued their exploration, Max suddenly growled, his gaze fixed on a cluster of ice crystals. The surface began to shift. Johnathan took a cautious step back as tiny, insect-like creatures emerged from the frozen ground. Their dark, metallic exoskeletons glistened, and their segmented bodies pulsed with faint energy. "AI, what are we looking at?" Johnathan asked. "Life forms capable of surviving extreme radiation and temperature fluctuations. Their outer shells are composed of an unknown element that reflects cosmic radiation. They appear to metabolize trace elements from the ice." One of the creatures moved toward Johnathan, its tiny limbs skittering across the surface. Then, in a sudden burst of speed, it leaped into the air, floating effortlessly in the weak gravity before landing gracefully on another ice chunk. "They've adapted perfectly to this environment," Johnathan murmured. "Radiation resistant, extreme temperature tolerant. This changes everything." The Great Escape. As they observed the creatures, a deep tremor rumbled beneath the ice. A massive collision of two ice fragments sent a shock wave through the rings. The alien creatures scattered, vanishing into cracks and crevices. "We need to get back to the ship," Johnathan shouted. He grabbed Max, bounding toward the UFO as ice and debris tumbled around them. The moment they entered the airlock, the ship's engines roared to life, lifting them away from the unstable surface just in time. Johnathan exhaled, watching through the window as the ring segment they had stood on was shattered into smaller fragments. That was close. Max barked in agreement. Johnathan turned to the AI. We need to study these creatures. If life can exist in Saturn's rings, then where else might we find it? As the UFO drifted away from the rings, Johnathan took one last look at the glimmering debris field, knowing they had uncovered another cosmic mystery. The adventure had only just begun.